ladies, gentlemen, and all that are here. Welcome. ABSOL Delicious Eat Well for Better Health. This is one of the programs of Advocates for Community Wellness. I am your moderator for today, Shirley Mims, and I work for Advocates. I am the Community Relations and Special Projects Director. We're glad that you took some time to hang out with us today. It's beautiful outside, but one good thing, we have you for a short time. So here we have our leader. This is our founder and executive director, Del Kane. A little bit about her. She is a professional nutrition specialist. She is a certified plant-based nutrition movement cooking coach, and she has over 18 years of work experience in the health promotion and disease prevention sector, coordinating wellness and culinary programs throughout the city. She will not be with us today, but I'm sure she is tuning in. All right, well, here is the fabulous four. Meet our wellness team. We have our leader, Del Kane, which I just introduced. We have Regina Hopkins. She is the director of the Health Education Programs Manager. Sharia Moore is helping us today with the slides, and her position is Community Engagement Coordinator. And yours truly, Shirley Mims. I am the Community Relations and Special Projects Director. We thank God for having a good, wholesome team. About Advocates, it's the A4CW. Advocates for Community Wellness is a faith-based, non-denominational, holistic health program and nutrition education ministry without walls. We bring to you programs to where you live, you learn, you shop, you play, and you worship. We focus on educating and promoting health, nutrition, healthy cooking classes, wellness programs, and teaching the relationship between diet, health, and chronic diseases. All right, so this particular program, ABSOL Delicious, there is a mission. This is one of the programs that we host. And that mission for ABSOL Delicious is improving eating habits for healthier lifestyle and increasing longevity and quality of life. That's our mission for you and for us. And then our goals to increase consumption of vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Also to encourage a more nutrition-rich diet plan for better health and to reduce risk factors of chronic diseases and illnesses. And finally, to obtain a healthier weight through consumption of plant-based nutrition. Those are our goals. All right, we always start out with a biblical reference. And today it reads, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity someone who falls and has no one to help them up. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. And that is the NI version. All right. That is our biblical reference for this series for today. All right. The disclaimer, waiver, and consent should have been placed when you got your confirmation for today's series. And this is for educational purposes only. We have trained cooks, and those that are here are in a position to do what needs to be done. We ask that you, as far as the chef and the foods that are being prepared here, that you modify your recipes as needed for your own personal health. All right. We want you to know that all Zoom sessions are recorded. You can regulate your own volume up or down, and you can turn them on at your discretion. We're moving right along. The presenters and agenda. Look what we have scheduled for you today. Chef Karen Crawford Moore is going to take us on a culinary experience. And this is a crispy, I don't never say this right, quinoa, I know I'm saying it wrong, but she will correct me when it's time for her, burger. And then she's going to do a slaw using 3 cabbages, 3 different types of cabbage. We have a volunteer that works with us, Nuro. You see that long name right there? She is a student here in Chicago at UIC, and she's studying nutrition education. And her piece today is the importance of salt reduction. I will facilitate that on her behalf. We want to give her credit and thank her for putting this together for us. And then yours truly, Shirley Mims, mealtime discussion. I will speak on 7 salty myths. And this has all been lined up with you in mind. And hopefully you'll take something with you that will continue to help you to stay healthy and enjoy your life. Healthy families equal healthy communities. Good health starts with what is on your plate. So today, the importance of salt reduction is what we're going to talk about today. And putting it all together will be next Thursday, August the 18th. And we're going to talk about fat, sugar, and salt. That's like putting it all in a bowl and like, picking something out of it, okay? And then our final series, which is on August the 25th. And this one I'm sort of looking forward to. It's an urban backyard farming. And it's going to be featured by Karen Bryce. And she is a community partner with Keystone Education Corner. This is beautiful. And she's going to be with us on Thursday, August the 25th. So we're hoping that you will continue to stay in tune with us and continue to join us for the next sessions that are coming your way. This is all with you in mind. We're thinking of you. All right, God bless. So here is what's going to be prepared today. Now, that looks pretty good to me. I like it because it's not the white bun. It looks like we have a wheat bun there. And so she's going to do that burger and those three. I am a cabbage slaw person. I love slaw. And in the South Carolina, my husband's from North Carolina. He says when you get a chili dog there, they top it off with slaw. Now, we don't do that here in Chicago because I've never got hamburger or a hot dog with any slaw on it. But that's what they do there. And it's real. I have had it because I have visited and it was very tasty. So we're looking forward to that. It looks really good. It's stacked up. It's got levels now. You can see that. You got the meat and then you got the slaw, then you got some lettuce and tomatoes and onions. I can't wait. All right, Cherie. Thank you. All right. So here is the recipe for that burger. Now, I do want to make an announcement that Chef Karen is going to alter some of these ingredients that are here to go along with what we're talking about today. And she will tell you exactly what she's going to do. Because I'm not the chef in the kitchen. She is. But she is going to alter some of these ingredients so that it will be a little bit more healthier in what we're looking for. And we appreciate that. All right. Now that's for the burger. And now here is the one for the different cabbages. She's got Napa cabbage, green cabbage, and red cabbage. That should look really pretty on the table with the mixtures of colors. And the taste, I just can't believe it. So we're just looking forward to this. I just wish there was some way that I could design something that we could all get a taste. But until that happens, just use your imagination and let's just go with it. So, all right, it's time for our chef, Chef Karen Crawford Moore. She is going to be featuring us today. She's our featured chef, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. And then she'll design this recipe to the way that she knows is the best way. And we're just going to sit back and enjoy the moment. All right, Chef Karen, I'm going to slide my plate over there to you, and you can fill it with whatever. Take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. Yes, there I am. Okay, so good morning. I am Chef Karen Crawford Moore, and thank you so much, Shirley, for that wonderful introduction, as always. And I am a personal chef, and I also, one of the things that I do is meal preparation in homes for particularly for people with special dietary needs, allergies, food sensitivities, that type of thing. And then I also do catered events from as small as 2 all the way up to 100. And then the last thing that I do is food demonstrations and cooking lessons, as I'm about to do a short demonstration for you all this morning. So I've been in various avenues of food service for over 20 years. I trained at what was called at that time the Cooking and Hospitality Institute of Chicago, and then which then became the Le Cordon Bleu. And I've worked in food manufacturing, I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in food prep kitchens, I've done food demonstrations, and now I have my own business that I described. So it's a pleasure to be in front of you. And I may need just a little bit of guidance because I am my own camera person today. So we will be making a quinoa burger. So just think of those of you that can remember back in the 70s, they used to say neato, keen. So like K-E-E-N, it's spelled Q-U-I, but it's pronounced like K-E-E-N, quinoa. So just say wa, quinoa. So this is what the package looks like in the store. And there you can see the spelling. And it comes in, it almost looks a little bit like birdseed when it's raw. I'll just take a handful to show you what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
They're like little seeds. So when you simmer them and you cook it pretty much like rice, 2-to-1 ratio. So for every 1 cup of quinoa, you would add 2 cups of water. And then you simmer it for about 15 to 20 minutes. And the texture, once it's cooked, looks like this. So, and it's very, I mean, you can use it in place of rice. It's an excellent grain, particularly for people following a plant-based diet because it has pretty much as close to a complete protein as you can get from a grain. So, so it's an excellent source of protein for the plant-based lifestyle. So let's start on our quinoa burger. So in my bowl, I'm going to start with my quinoa, which is already cooked. So this is 1 cup of cooked quinoa. Putting that in my bowl. And then I am going to add a cup of, well, I'm actually doing a half recipe here. So, because I did a half recipe, which is chili. So I'm using half a cup of cannellini beans. And these are, I threw the can away, but this is what they look like. So basically, they're also called white kidney beans. You might hear that term as well, or you might see that description on the can. And we want to use no salt added because our focus is on, sodium, reducing the sodium in the diet. So, and that is available. So there's that. And then I'm going to just do a little quick mash with the back of my spoon here. And the mashed beans are gonna actually help bind this patty together. And it doesn't have, you don't have to mash all of them, but maybe half or most of them. And then I'm going to add breadcrumb. These are panko breadcrumbs, a 1/4 cup. The recipe calls for garlic. I left the garlic. I have like 5 bulbs of garlic at home, and lo and behold, I've forgotten them. So I'm using garlic powder. And let's say about a teaspoon of that. You can almost, but well, for me, you can almost not do too much garlic. And then this is what's called, this is another kind of staple or handy technique in the plant-based lifestyle. So the original recipe called for an egg, I wanted to omit using eggs, so I made what's called a flax egg. So you take flaxseed, ground flaxseed, a tablespoon, and you put in a bowl, and then you add 3 tablespoons of water, and then you just let it sit in the bowl, and then it thickens on its own. So that, you know, the challenge of the plant-based lifestyle is like things like eggs aren't necessarily used just to be eaten as eggs. They are a binder for a lot of the things that we typically prepare. This is acting as part of the other part of our binder. So I'm gonna add that. And then I'm gonna add my spices. I have some chili powder. And I'm measuring very carefully here in the palm of my hand, about a teaspoon. Some black pepper. And this is, and I'm using the original recipe on the slide says a teaspoon of salt. We wanted to really work hard to get that sodium level down. So by using a salt substitute such as Dash, this is Dash, the spicy Southwest Chipotle blend, but there's all kinds of blends out there. The garlic and herb is very nice as well. So in place of that, that's what I'm using in place of the salt. And okay, I think that's everything. So I'm just stirring this together. So just like you would mix, kind of like mixing a meatloaf together, where you've got, you know, various ingredients, and you want it to come together. I'm just mashing up my beans just a little bit more. And then you can see how, if you form it in your hand, it does come together pretty nicely. If it doesn't, if it crumbles, you can add a little bit more water. And you see, you have your patty. Okay. So this is a 3 cabbage slaw, and it is made with it's pretty much a vinaigrette type dressing. So here in my bowl, I have chopped green cabbage, which is, you know, what we typically use for most coleslaws. And then this is chopped red cabbage. And then here I have Napa cabbage. So I'm going to add that. So those are my 3 cabbages. And I'm going to put my dressing together. So I have here fresh lime juice. Of course, you can also use bottled lime juice. I have balsamic vinegar. And where's my maple syrup? Pure maple syrup and olive oil. So I am going to, sometimes, you know, a whisk would be great, but if you don't have a whisk, you can always use a salad fork or a dinner fork. So a little bit of maple syrup, about a teaspoon, I believe. So I'm whisking that together with the lime juice. Then I'm adding my balsamic. I love the taste of balsamic. And also, balsamic is also, balsamic vinaigrettes are a wonderful marinade for your vegetables as well. So I'm added a little bit of pepper. And now I'm going to add, whisk in my olive oil. About a tablespoon. So again, on the recipe, it mentions a pinch of sea salt. I'm not using any salt today. So I'm going to pour this over my dressing. Okay. And then I'm going to stir this together. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. And let's go back to our burger. So I'm going to, I have here, I need to walk you guys over to the stove. So here I have nonstick skillet. And I'm adding just a little bit of olive oil, about a teaspoon. And I want to give it a little swish around to coat the entire pan. And then I'm going to turn my heat up to about medium. And I'm going to get my chilled patties. They've been chilling for about 20 minutes. So these are my quinoa patties that have been chilling. They didn't say how long to chill them, but I figured 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes would be hopefully a sufficient amount of time. So okay, so I'm going to add one of these to my pan. And they say about 5 minutes per side. And there is an acclimation period. I think, you know, I think someone was commenting on, you know, maybe perhaps starting with half, you know, cutting their salt portions, salt amounts in half. And then, you know, gradually kind of weaning themselves off of the sodium, the salt intake. So I'm going to go back to my workstation here. So I'm going to angle back down. And I forgot one of my ingredients, which is carrots. And I think these are really handy, especially if you don't have a food processor or some type of chopper to do the work for you. These are what they call matchstick carrots. And so, you know, if you have a recipe that calls for shredded carrots or grated carrots, you could use this in, you know, instead of having to, you know, get grate or shred those carrots by hand. So, and they aren't, you know, a lot of times when you buy produce that has been further processed, convenience type produce, it gets very expensive, but this was less than $2. So I think it was $1.77. So here I'm gonna add some of the carrot. It's a even a little more color, I'm adding to this wonderful slaw. And here I'm going to start setting up my plate. So I have my whole wheat bun. And I believe my burger is about ready. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to add a slice of onion. Who likes onion on their burger? And do you like raw onion or do you like grilled onion?
I like them both.
I like the red onion on mine.
You like the red onion?
I do like the red onion on my burgers, yes.
And that's just raw is fine
Yes.
with you?
Oh yeah, raw.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of raw onion, but if I'm using raw onion, I like to use the red onion because it's not quite as robust.
Right.
Everyone else in my house doesn't seem to have a problem with a raw yellow onion. So I'm outvoted on that one. And usually if we have burgers, I will grill some onion and put it on top. So here's our quinoa burger.
Oh, okay.
And of course you can add, we could go on for days. I mean, people have burger bars and that go on for days. You could add, of course, you could add lettuce, you could add spinach, you could add onion, you could add pickles. Love pickles too.
Okay.
So, make it, as Dale often says, make it to your liking. So, and that I think will also compensate for the sodium we're not using. We're adding all these other elements.
Okay.
And that adds to the flavor. So I'm just taking a little mound of my slaw, and then I have this is well, I'll leave it as is, I think. And then we put onion here. And there you have it. And of course, you could add tomato.
Can you bring it back? Okay, that's perfect right there. Okay. Oh, wow. Can you put tomatoes on there if you want?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
with the slaw, you really don't need like mayo or mustard or anything on there because it would take away to me if you add anything like that on there.
Right, because the slaw has like its own dressing in there.
Right.
Right. I mean, some people, our people are condiment people.
Yeah.
So I know some people who, they want to go down the road. They want the mayonnaise, the mustard, the ketchup, the hot, maybe even some hot sauce. We did this was years ago, we did like a mock Big Mac. And so, we slimmed it down. So we had to come up with a alternative to the secret sauce, which we now know as Thousand Island dressing. But so we used like a light mayonnaise or veganese, and then added like some, I think, tomato paste, just a little dab of tomato paste, and some finely chopped pickle, onion, and it was great. The class loved it. So.
All right, Chef Karen. We thank you. That looks really
Get
good.
creative, folks. Thank
It
you.
looks really good. And I just know you're probably going to enjoy that. We won't get a chance to really, Lottie says that looks really good, like onions too. All right.
You're an onion girl, huh, Shirley?
You know what? I'm all those things you just said, but for this sandwich, I think all you need is the slaw and a little touch of onions. I think you'll mess it up if you put ketchup and all that stuff. It's not that type of burger. So thank you so much, Chef. And we're just going to move on now with the rest of our program. And we're grateful for that experience that Chef Karen allowed us to take that journey with her. And so you will get a copy of the recipe. And of course, once the video has been edited, you will also get a copy of this video. So now next, we're going to do Narua. She is a student here in Chicago, and she's studying for nutrition. And she did a comprehensive analysis for us for today. And I'm going to read that. Cherie does have her piece on the screen. Sodium, a comprehensive analysis. So we're going to go through this very quickly. All right, she said added salts. When you're adding additional salts to a meal, and that's usually to increase the flavor content, which we all know because we're just used to having that taste. So allow for better preservation of foods, canned foods and vegetables, processed meats, and prepackaged meals. That's one of, all right, so what is processed food? All right, so processed food is food that changed in any way from its natural state. That includes when you wash it, canning, freezing, or adding ingredients to it. Baking, cooking, or preparing it counts as processing as well. So there are different types of processed foods: unprocessed or minimally processed foods. If you bite an apple, suck and swallow a live oyster, oh no, or eat a tomato from your garden, you are eating an unprocessed food because it hasn't been touched. As stated, most foods go through some sort of processing, so just know that. Minimally processed foods such as bagged carrots, chopped lettuce, and raw nuts are healthy, and the processing they have undergone are mostly for the sake of convenience. Minimally processed foods sometimes contain additives used to preserve the properties of the original food and to make transporting foods possible. So they try to keep it fresh so it can drive wherever they have to take it. All right, so processed culinary ingredients. Processed culinary ingredients are substances obtained directly from unprocessed or minimally processed foods or from nature. They are altered by processes such as pressing, refining, grinding, and in other manners, so they can be used in the cooking process. For example, that includes the sugar obtained from the cane, syrup from the maple tree, and vegetable oils extracted from olives or seeds. Processed foods, again, also known as slightly processed foods. This category includes foods like tomatoes, green beans, tuna, and berries that are canned or frozen soon after they are harvesting. They may have one or two added ingredients, and here we go, such as the salt, the sugar, or oils, and seldom have more than 3 or 4 ingredients. Common foods such as breads, cheeses, and pastas are examples of slightly processed foods. Packaged items with only a few high-quality added ingredients like herbs and spices and oils might also be considered lightly processed, such as some pasta sauces and salad dressings are. Heavily/ultra processed foods. Many foods in this category are called junk foods. And these are foods made with 5 or more ingredients and are filled with sugars again, oils and fats, salt, antioxidants, stabilizers, and preservatives. Generally speaking, ultra-processed foods include lots of added stuff that doesn't occur naturally. They put other stuff in there. Ultra-processed foods count for about 90% or almost all of the added sugars Americans eat. Nearly all the foods in this category are unhealthy, and eating too many foods in this category increases the risk of not only obesity and diabetes, And they also associated with a highlighted risk of cardiovascular disease. And that's not something that we want. The effects of excessive sodium consumption. All right, let's talk about the heart. So high sodium consumption can raise your blood pressure. And high blood pressure is a major risk for heart disease and stroke. Most of the sodium we consume is in the form of the salt. All right, let's talk a little bit about the brain. There has been research which found that high levels of dietary salt cause a chemical change to a protein called thyroid. All right, this change can cause thyroid to clump together in the brain. And the clumps of thyroid are linked with dementias such as Alzheimer's disease. All right, kidneys. When your body has too much sodium, your kidneys, my kidneys, can't remove enough of it. So the sodium collects it in your bloodstream, and this can lead to high blood pressure, which causes other problems. Too much sodium in the blood is called hyponatremia. All right, hypernatremia. I don't want to mess that up. All right, I had it all in my head, but when I come on the screen, it's not there. But that is a little blurb and a little education about the kidneys. All right, how do we reduce the sodium consumption? All right, that's what I'm asking myself. All right, so here's some suggestions. Buy some fresh, frozen or canned vegetables with no salt or salts added. Sometimes you can just get them plain. Choose packaged food labels like low sodium, reduced sodium, or no salt added when available. And then we need to read the food labels and compare the amounts of sodium in the different products, and then choose the options with the lowest amount of sodium. And I know that's hard, but we will be happy that we did it. So here's another blurb. No salt, no problem. Okay. So you can stir in your herbs and your spices. You can add a splash of vinegar. You can squeeze or zest citrus, sprinkle in a little cheese, or add some aromas like garlic, onions, and scallops. Okay, so that's like an alternate, some other things that we can use. Because if you have no salt, then you don't have any problems, but you still want a little taste. So do it accordingly, and let's think about that. All right, so we want to thank Narua for her work and putting that piece together, and we are grateful that she shared it, and I've shared it with you on her behalf. All right, next up is the mealtime discussion, and this is 7 salty myths. All right, there's 7 of them. Number 1, eliminate sodium completely for good health. All right. Sodium is an essential nutrient that controls your blood pressure and is needed to make nerves and muscles work properly, but you need the right amount. That's number 1. All right, number 2, sea salt has less sodium than table salt. All right, sea salt has boomed in popularity, but it usually isn't any less salty. Just the table salt, it typically contains about 40% sodium. All right, number 3, I usually don't salt my food, so I don't eat too much sodium. All right, 75%, more than 75% of sodium Americans consume is estimated to come from processed foods, not the salt shaker. So that's why it's important to compare the nutritional facts and the labels and the serving sizes. All right, number 4, high levels of sodium are found only in food. Some over-the-counter medications contain high levels of sodium. Wow, really? Okay. Carefully read your drug labels, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and remember that some companies produce low sodium over-the-counter products. I did not know that. All right, number 5, lower sodium foods have no taste. Okay. There is a rich world of creativity and flavor alternates to salt. Experiment with spices and your herbs and citrus to enhance the natural flavor of your food. All right, number 6, My blood pressure is normal, so I don't need to worry about how much sodium I eat. The American Heart Association says we should do 1,500 milligrams, 1,500 milligrams on that. And my final, coming down the runway, number 7. I don't eat a lot of salty food, so I don't eat too much sodium. All right, so you need to watch your meats, the poultry, and you also need to watch your cheese and even your bread. These foods can have excess sodium that can increase your risk for heart disease and stroke. So we just can't assume that they're okay. Do your homework, because we want to be as healthy and we want to feel good and look good as much as we can. So it's really up to us to do what we need to do to continue our journey in a healthy way. All right. Thank you, Sharia Moore. All right, so we're moving on. So ABSOL Delicious Eat Well for Better Health. We ask that you join us for our next Eat Well event. And of course, today it was beautiful. We talked about the importance of salt reductions, and our chef did a recipe that she altered it to what we were trying to accomplish here today. August the 18th, putting it together, which is the fat, the sugar, and the salt, the bad, the ugly, and for whatever you want to call it. I love that. So we're going to put it all together. We're going to talk about that on the 18th. And then our final one, which is August the 25th, we're going to urban backyard farming featuring Karen Bryce. She is a community partner for Keystone Education Corner. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm not a farmer, so I'm not good with things like that, but I always admire someone that has a farm and have all those vegetables and different things in their yard. And I know it's healthier because they're growing them themselves, and they know exactly what's going on. So it's nice to put that on the table for yourself and your family. If you've got your own backyard farming, how beautiful is that? So that is our lineup for our August series. And we hope that you will continue to join us. All right, so learn more about our programs. The ATJ Along the Journey is a cancer awareness and survival support program. That's one of the programs that we have with Advocates for Community Wellness. And then we have the WWWP, which is the Well Woman's Program. And then we also have the ABSOL Delicious. But these are the ones we're kind of bringing to the table for you today. Our website, if you have any concerns or if you want to give us a comment or some of your ideas, www.A4CW.org. You want to write us a letter. Address is 815 West 63rd Street in Chicago, Illinois. And then we have our email there on the screen, info@A4CW.org. And then our phone number. If no one answers, leave a message and we will return the call. And that number is 708-300-9072. And then our social media, we have Instagram, Facebook. We're trying to bring it in every avenue that we can think of. And we ask that you all love us and support us. We do this with you in mind because we care. We do care. And our health does matter. All right, we're moving right along. We're doing good with our time. Thank you, Cherie. All right, so we always close out with a prayer. I pray that God continues to bless us and show us favor in all things. Thank you, God, for giving us as we forgive others for sins we do not realize we commit. Lord, please fill us with your wisdom and your compassion for others. Amen.